The first time I played Mario 64, I honestly didn't get it. I heard so much praise about this game, calling it one of the best games of all time, calling it timeless, saying it aged like fine wine. But the first time I played it, none of that resonated with me. Mario's controls were frustrating for me, and so unlike any of the newer 3D games, I didn't get it. But something in the back of my mind compelled me to replay the game a second, a third, a fourth time, and then I realized, wait, if I don't think the game is that good, then why have I played it 4 times now? And that's because it is that good. As always, Nintendo was the center of innovation, and the N64 paved the path for the next step in gaming. The N64 controller combined with Mario 64 introduced fun and smooth movement in a 3D environment. The movement in this game is fun as hell, man. You got the single jump, the double jump, the triple jump, all which gives you insane height. You get the side somersault, which also gives you a lot of height. You can do a wall kick, which can help you reach certain platforms that are high above. You get the backward somersault, which gives you a lot of height from a standstill. And you get the long jump, which is really good for clearing long distances. There is also the dive, which can be used to cover a long distance after you've already jumped in the air. There are so many movement options, and controlling Mario is so fun, especially when you begin to combine different movements and chain them together. It feels so liberating. Unlike newer Mario games, Mario can't change his direction once he is already in the air, meaning that you really have to commit to a jump. This can be really frustrating at first, but once you get used to it, you learn to become more intentional with your movements, and it just feels really good when you finally feel like you have mastered his movements. A big strength of Super Mario 64 is its open-ended level structure. Barring a few exceptions, you can get most stars in this game in any order you'd like. For example, the first star in the first stage gives you a hint to defeat King Bob-Omb, but you can also just ignore that and get the 8 red coins, or free the Chain Chomp to get a star. There are a total of 120 stars in the game, but you only need 70 stars to beat the game. So if there's a certain star you don't like or you're just not feeling, you can just skip that and get to the star that you do like. There is also a lot of freedom in how you get certain stars. The first time I got this star in the cage, I used a cannon to shoot myself up there and hoped that I'd land the cage. It was horrible. I lost a lot of lives that day, but I was sure that this was the way to get the star, and eventually I managed to pull it off. It wasn't until a later playthrough that I realized what you're supposed to do is grab onto this owl and then try to set yourself up to land directly on the cage. You're also supposed to go all the way around this wall here to get to the top of the stage, but now I always triple jump just past the wall to reach the other side and get to these elevators. In the snow world, I'd have to talk to this guy to unlock a cannon, jump back down there, and then launch myself out of the cannon to get there. Then on a later playthrough, I wonder if I could just reach that platform just by long jumping down there, and it worked. And then I long jumped again, and it also worked. It felt like such an awesome moment, like I was rewarded for my curiosity and experimentation. And this is part of what makes Super Mario 64 so fun to replay. As you replay the levels over and over again, new ideas and possibilities begin to emerge in the player's head. As you become increasingly familiar with the structure of the levels, you start to think about new and different ways to traverse that level, new ways to get a star. It's like your third eye has opened, and you begin to see Mario 64 through a new lens, not as a rigid structure that we must follow to its T, but as an open playground where anything is possible, as long as we execute on it properly. There are so many secrets to find in Mario 64. To find the cap that lets you fly, you have to stand here and look up at the light, where it'll transport you to a secret level. You can go into a hidden room where stage 3 is and find another star. You can enter a room with stained glass windows depicting Peach, and if you jump into one of them, you can go down this slide and earn stars. To attempt to stage 5, you have to hit one of the boosts that he drops the cage that teleports you. In stage 6, the 5th star hints that there's something in the volcano, and sure enough, dropping into the volcano reveals an entire hidden section. When you reach the bottom floor of Peach's castle, you'll chase this bunny around, and if you're like me, in your attempt to grab the bunny, you'll crash into this wall, and find out that this is the entrance to stage 8. I've played this game at least 10 times by now, and it wasn't until my last playthrough that I figured out how you're supposed to reach the secret town in stage 11 that I've always heard people talk about. Mario 64 is constantly surprising its players, somehow always finding a way to reward players for exploring their surroundings and taking these little hints and just giving the player the freedom to explore and find all the secrets in this world. I really love the N64 graphics of Mario 64. The extremely polygonal design of Mario, the enemies, and the landscape is just so charming to me, even as someone who has no nostalgia for the graphics of this era. It's just so clean and simple, but also has a lot of life. Peach's castle is large and inviting. It feels expensive, like royalty. Stage 1 is open and green. It's inviting the player to just run and jump around and explore the level. Stage 3 has the blue water you can swim in, and combined with that music, there's a real sense of peacefulness and relaxation, even despite the massive eel that lives here. Stage 4 and 10 are the snow levels, and they have large snowmen and penguins. If you fall from a great height, Mario will just sink into the snow below him. The ghost house is so unlike any of the other levels. This is where Mario 64 becomes a horror game. Just listen to that. This piano comes to life and tries to eat you. Books attack you. These large eyeballs track your movements. Boos creep up on you. Just look outside. This place is nightmare fuel. Imagine being a little kid playing this game. You'd probably be shitting your pantaloons. Stage 7 is the lava world with volcano, and touching the lava causes you to go. Stage 8 is the desert world, and it has quicksand, these enemies, and also a giant pyramid with a secret boss within it. There's also a clock tower, and depending on what time you go in there, the parts inside the clock will be moving really fast, or they might not move at all. There's also a rainbow world, where you can ride this magic carpet. Mario 64 is just so varied in the type of vibe they're going for, whether it's cheerfulness, relaxation, awe, horror, or stress. Mario 64 is a magical game, one that gets better and better the more time you put into it. It's so open-ended, with so many options for experimentation, so endlessly replayable and infinitely charming. This game is nearly 30 years old, and for Mario's first entry into the 3D space, Mario 64 was an amazing first swing at it, truly a one-in-a-million game. It's a game that I have a lot of love and appreciation for, and it truly is magical. And for 6 long years, fans had to remain patient for the next Mario entry, one that would finally release in 2002.
Super Mario Sunshine! Woohoo!
Mario Sunshine is a difficult game for me to talk about. There are so many aspects that I like about it, but also so many things that I really hate. This game introduces FLUDD, who allows you to spray water to defeat enemies or stun them, and to wash off graffiti and goop. Spraying water in front of you and then diving causes you to slide and gain a lot of speed, which is super satisfying. You can also use FLUDD to hover for a brief duration of time. Just like Mario 64, combining these different movesets is extremely satisfying and really fun. There are so many ways to break levels and do things in ways that the game didn't intend. The setting of Mario Sunshine is also beautiful. Mario and Peach are on vacation in a tropical resort. There is a lovely beach sound with boardwalks, boats, and piazzas that dance along to the music. This plaza is surrounded by beautiful clear blue water that still looks great even to this day. I'm convinced Nintendo made Sunshine set exclusively on an island just to show off their impressive water graphics. There's a theme park stage that has a massive Ferris wheel, a Yoshi merry-go-round, and swinging boats. There's a hotel stage with multiple rooms and a casino on the lower floor. There are some stages that literally feel like you're at one of the most beautiful beaches you ever set foot on. Everything about Super Mario Sunshine's aesthetics is constantly reinforcing this theme of being on a relaxing summer vacation on a beautiful island. However, the design of Super Mario Sunshine often clashes with its relaxed appearance. Mario Sunshine feels like a game that is underbaked, a game that was taken out of the oven too soon for its own good. It is the jankiest of the Mario games. Mario 64 has a lot of jank too, but I think Mario Sunshine is far less polished than any Mario game that was released before it or since. There are so many times where I can't trust what Mario's standing on, or what he's doing, because he'll start to spaz out for no good reason. Sunshine has fewer stages and fewer main stars than Mario 64, and although I'm a big proponent of quality over quantity, the problem is that despite having fewer stars, not all of them are of high quality. There is so much BS and repeated content in this game. You fight this piranha guy twice. You fight this squid 3 times. There are a bajillion red coin missions in this game. You fight Shadow Mario like 10 times. And there are so many bad stars in this game. This one, where you have to flip the tiles using FLUDD, which is as inaccurate as my piss spray. These chucks are fucks. And then there's this thing where you have to somehow propel your boat using FLUDD. There's this 8 coin mission where the coins will just disappear into the rocks, and then you just have to sit around and wait until they come back up. This one where you have to be this eel's dentist, except you fall down so slowly and your movement feels so clunky underwater. There's a lot of frustration in this game. It often feels like the most sadistic Mario entry in the series, and unfortunately, Mario Sunshine does not give the player the freedom to decide what stars to get to beat the game. Nope, instead, Mario Sunshine forces players to get all the first 7 shines in each stage in order to get to the final boss fight. You have to get all the mandatory shines, even if it means having to do frustrating stuff like this. Replaying Sunshine is a pain because there are so many cutscenes and tutorial messages in the opening of the game. It takes like 10 to 15 minutes for you to finally be able to hop into the first level. In a lot of ways, Sunshine feels like a step back from what Mario 64 achieved design-wise. It still has the fun movement, but the freedom of choice that made Mario 64 a masterpiece is no longer present, and it really hurts the quality of the game. Something that scared me in my most recent playthrough, however, is how little these frustrations bother me this time around. I actually found myself enjoying most of Sunshine, even despite its massive flaws. And that scared me because up until this point, I was pretty adamant that Super Mario Sunshine was the worst Mario game I've played. But now, I'm not so sure. It still might be my least favorite 3D Mario, but out of all the Mario games I've played, I don't think I could call this one the worst one anymore, or my least favorite. Because, despite its large, massive flaws, there is still a lot of charm here. And apart from its aesthetics, sound, and setting, Sunshine still has many great and unique shines. I said there are too many red coin missions, and while that's true, I do still find some of them enjoyable, particularly the ones in the first and second stage. The second stage has a shine where you jump on top of a squid and you have to complete a lap fast enough to earn the shine. You also have to climb up higher and higher to jump into this cage and grab a shine. I like the missions where you race against this Italian dude to touch the flag before him, just like Koopa the Quick in Mario 64. In the theme park stage, the first shine puts you on a roller coaster, and your objective is to shoot that Mecha Bowser with rockets. There are also multiple secret areas that serve as challenge levels. These levels take away your FLUDD and force you to beat them without the hovering mechanic, meaning you have to really learn and master Mario's basic movement mechanics. The music that plays in these levels gives me an anxiety unlike any other Mario game. I think it might have given me PTSD. And there are so many other missions that even if I don't personally find super enjoyable, they are at the very least interesting because they are unique and different. Mario 64 is the first game to introduce voice acting in the series, with Mario being voiced by Charles Martinet. It is an excellent decision because it gives Mario a lot of life, a lot of character, and also because many of his sounds are funny. Mario Sunshine also has voice acting and it's not great, like at all, but at least it's funny. Peach is the epitome of the dumb blonde.
Mama? Mama, Peach? I'm your mama?
Bowser Jr., I don't even know what he's yapping about.
Papa told me everything. He said,
Mario's a bully. He never fights fair.
he said,
Junior, you gotta try to outsmart Mario.
so I tried to get Mario sent to prison. But they didn't lock him up, and now he came to steal Mama Peach again. You pest! Stop following us!
And Bowser, oh my goodness, that choice is terrible. Hearing Bowser talk with that American accent and that voice, I don't know why, but the way this line is delivered is so funny to me.
That's right, boy. Well put, son. The Royal Koopa line is as strong as ever. But for now, let's just rest a while.
I just looked at the comment section for a Sunshine video and someone said Bowser sounds like the Cookie Monster and Bowser Jr. just sounds like Bart Simpson. Sunshine is just such a strange game, an anomaly, the black sheep of the 3D series. But even with its massive flaws, I think I'm slowly starting to change my mind on Sunshine. I no longer feel a hate for it. Instead, I'm slowly recognizing that while it's got some bad parts, there are other parts I love about it. I also see some things in Sunshine that would influence the Mario Galaxy games. For example, the Shine Select screen is really similar to Galaxy's. Some of the mission structure is also very similar, as well as the cinematics, the bosses, and these levels that are so far removed from the theme of the stages they belong to. I have an increased appreciation for Sunshine because of this, and despite its flaws, at the very least Sunshine is still distinct and unique in its own right, and that's worth a lot in my opinion. Sunshine is really rough around the edges, but it still has an undeniable charm to it and an allure that's caused me to replay this game more times than I ever thought I would. Even as I sit on the script, I replayed Mario 64 and Sunshine again, and although Mario 64 is by far the most consistently enjoyable, Mario Sunshine is the game that I can't get out of my head. The beach, the beautiful blue water, the music, the funny voice acting. There's so much that frustrates me. So many times where I momentarily hate the game, but there's also so much beauty, so much fun, so much personality in Sunshine. I can't bring myself to hate the game any longer, and I can feel myself slowly falling in love with Sunshine.